After some technical difficulties, the Ben v. Ben podcast comes to you live. Match week 8. Ben, what happened? Why are we late recording the podcast?
Well, you were late because you had to print the script. And then while I was waiting for you, I was organising this desk and knocked a whole glass of bourbon all over the desk. And then the computer wouldn't restart. And it was horrible.
What kind
Willet?
Will?
It was nice bourbon. Yeah, nice bourbon, nice bottle. And now it's all gone. And now I have to do this sober, which is the bad news of tonight.
You pouring one out for Trent Alexander-Arnold's hamstring?
Oh, I know. Poor guy. At least he gets a little break now. Doesn't have to go around the world doing meaningless games.
Yeah, and probably getting COVID and, whatnot. Okay, Ben, we're going to launch straight into it. This weekend, top of the table clash. Man City, Liverpool. Who will come out number 1 out of this clash? Ben, the match, no one's coming out winners in this match. Man City won, Liverpool won. Ben, the match, first half, kind of great. The second half, kind of terrible. So it's kind of a nothing match. Ben, what do you think of the match, because kind of in general?
What a tease. I think I watched the first 15 minutes. I was like, this is gangbusters. This is going to be a 4-4, 5-5. They just full-on attack both teams, quality on both ends. And then something happened and they all just capitulated. Everyone got very tired. And then we just saw a 1-1 with some drama in the second half. But disappointing, I think. I don't think anyone's really happy on either team with the performance or the result.
So we had some discussions during the week, as we like to do. There has been no louder proponent of the 5 subs than Guardiola and Klopp. Do we think this was wheels within wheels trying to show, like, hey, look, our players are tired. They can't even put together a full 90 minutes. We need more subs. Are they playing mind games here with the FA?
I get it. 5 subs favours the big teams. The idea being you've got a big squad that you can bring on more players, you can bring in, have a quality bench and tap more into that. That gives you an advantage other teams doesn't have the same squad depth. I get that. But then I hear complaints about, well, it's for the safety of players, and everyone's playing this condensed fixture list. We shouldn't be why put these players through it, and we should be making it as easy as possible for them. Why have to keep to this 3 subs? And then I argue again in the other side of my head, well, just don't play them. No one's telling you to play Alex and Bruno and all the players like Salah. You don't have to play them in every game. You can rotate. You don't have to use it as a sub in the 5th minute. So I think I hear good intentions. I hear bad intentions in there. I also have got one eye on the Euros as well. And we don't want, as England always do, have all their players exhausted by summer and injured. So it would be beneficial to try and help as many players as possible be as fresh for as long as possible. I don't know. I think I go back and forth. The beginning of the week, I was 3 subs for sure. Stop your whining, just rotate. But now I'm back to, well, we need to do every little thing to help players and try and keep them as fresh as possible. What do you think?
I like the 5 subs because I think it allows a manager to make a more, like, if he screws it up, he's a better of a chance to, like, rearrange the pieces. And I find that more interesting. So I guess I'm just being selfish that I think 5 subs is more interesting. Chelsea's a pretty deep team, so it probably, like, benefits us, right? Like, we're not I would probably say we don't have, like, Liverpool, like, quality up top, but I think, like, our bench is better than our bench is better than Liverpool's. So yeah, selfishly as a Chelsea fan, I'm gonna say I like it, but I also, like, I think that's the one thing I don't like about football as much is, like, so much of it is the tactics, like, leading up to the game, right? Like, and it's like you really only have 2 chess pieces to play to really get, like, to move the board around. With 5 subs, you have 4, right? And you can change the board around a lot more. A little Queen's Gambit if things aren't working out for you, whatever type defense she always dreams about. Anyways, are you watching that show?
Yeah, we finished it. It's a great show. Absolutely great show. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm like episode 3. I enjoy it. Minus the part where she started bleeding in the middle of, like, her first chess tournament. I could have gone without that. Like, that was
Yes, I'm teaching Lee chess now because of this.
Ah,
We bought a chessboard, and I'm teaching her, the Italian Open or whatever that first move is. But yes,
are you also providing her with copious amount of tranquilizers?
it's a great game, absolutely great game.
Yeah. Um, okay, Ben. So what's notable about this match is Klopp going full FIFA. He's trying to figure out, hey, what if I just throw Jota and Firmino in there? 4-2-4. If they score less goals than us, we win. Let's just try to outscore them. Fuck it. Let's be heroes. Let's be legends, according to the Fire documentary.
I will tell you what the formation wasn't, and that's what Match of the Day, ESPN all predicted this formation. They had the three rotating. They had Jota, Firmino, and why am I blanking on Sané, and then Salah on top. That's not how they played. They played four up top, two in the middle, and three at the back. It was Robertson pushing up to make that fourth man, and then Jota on the right as well. It was exciting to watch.
I do wonder, like, and I'm not saying like, Jota is the new girl who's going to break up the group, but like that front three has, been unchallenged for like 3 years, the best front three in Europe. And now you have this new person. And that's what Sir Alex Ferguson did very well, as we've talked about, is integrating new talent. But like, do you think Firmino's just going to be happy that he's going to get maybe jettisoned for Jota if they can't figure out how to play for him together? I wonder about the squad dynamics with Liverpool of having such a settled front three, and now your front three isn't as settled.
It goes back to that five subs. They bought Jota for depth. If one of them get injured, they've got a great person on the bench. Now they've realised this bench players probably should start, and now they're playing all four. Don't come complaining to me in the mid-season when everyone's tired. It's games like this where you try to play all four at the same time because they're your best players. You bought Jota for rotation. Amongst any of those front three, you shouldn't be playing all four together if you're at the same breath complaining about league fixtures and having to play too early. It kind of defeats every argument you ever had just with that one move.
Klopp's a secret crybaby, right? Like like we've identified this early. He's a big crybaby. The press loves him. I like Klopp too, but he is a crybaby. Don't get it twisted. Big questions out of this match. First big question: did Jesus mean it on the equalizer for Man City? Did he mean that move?
I said the same thing about Bergkamp as well. Bergkamp claims, I'll tell you what, Jesus's looks more like he meant it than Bergkamp, and Bergkamp said he meant it. I think so. You know what? And they had a very good match. Even if he didn't, his reaction afterwards and the finish, it's all about it. I think, who knows? I think he meant it. What about you?
I think he couldn't have reacted that fastly if he didn't mean it.
Yeah.
His reaction to that ball was instant, right? So if he didn't mean it, if he didn't mean it in a weird way, it's almost more impressive of his reflexes because to get around that quickly was amazing. So I think he meant it. I don't think he would have gotten the ball if he didn't mean it. The second big question out of that match, the American announcers, oh boy. Well, there weren't the American Lee Dixon's not an American announcer, but he is an English broadcaster on the American feed, crying about the Gomez penalty. Hey, guess what? I thought it was a penalty. If you jump in the air and your arm leaves your body, you don't have to jump for that ball. He didn't have to jump. He put his arm in the way. That's a handball. I'm sorry. Penalty.
Yeah, I think the hard thing is that you're running back. His arms were by his side, slightly out. He was trying to turn away, and it still hit his arm. So I think the argument, he was doing his best to keep out the way. He knows the rule. He was doing everything he could to stop it happen. It still hit his arm, and it's still a penalty. And I think that as we talk about, every manager will try and get as much advantage as possible, whether it's five subs, whether it's making tactical changes in a water break, whether it's the advice to cross early, cross at about waist height, because you know what, we might get a penalty. And no one wants to see the rules change into we're just going to aim for people's arms or people's bodies because 50% of the time we're going to hit an arm. I think that's a concern.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought it was a penalty, and I didn't understand why they cried about it so much. Like, given what the handball rule is now, the Leicester Wolves penalty, a little bit more. I thought that was a little tougher of a call, but I thought, given what the handball rules is, I thought it was a penalty, right? Like, we can cry about the rules.
Yeah.
We could spend every until they amend it, and I think they will amend it. We could spend. And this Premier League season has way too many penalties. Leicester has 8 penalties this season. They had two last match. Way too many penalties this season. But Ben, coming out of the penalty, I'm not going to say I ever am truly shocked by something that happens in football. Like, very rarely am I. Ooh, a bug. Maybe that's shocking. A bug tried to attack my face. But I'm very rarely very shocked in football. Like, jaw on the floor, shocked. When De Bruyne missed that penalty, I was shocked. I just view him as the most sure thing, the best, probably right foot. We're going to talk about who has the best left foot in the Premier League, but the best right foot in the Premier League. He plays balls. I would never expect him to miss the target. A penalty save, sure. Missing the target, I was floored. I couldn't get over it. What did you think about De Bruyne missing that penalty?
It was terrible. It was surprising. I think what was super surprising was it wasn't just a blast high and wide, like a top corner. It was just a scruffy low. And even if that was inside the post, you're giving the keeper a good chance to get down there. It wasn't particularly hard. It wasn't a great height for a penalty. And it was off target. And you don't expect any of that from De Bruyne. But his right foot that whole game, he had a few chances. And I think the bar's really high for De Bruyne, as you say, but he had a few long shots that went over as well. It just didn't look like he had his shooting boots on.
Yeah, I thought he played a really good ball to Sterling that should have been a goal. He still is the best crosser in the Premier League. Like, to me, it's like he does like these weird crosses that are not like traditional crosses. Like, it's in transition crosses. I don't quite know how to describe it. It's not like in swinging crosses. He like plays the ball on the ground to the other side of to someone attacking the far post better than anyone.
The Barcelona Alba cross ball as well. Yeah. He does it on the move first time. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty.
He's high on my list of favorite players that are on my rivals that I just enjoy watching.
Do you think ginger just means you're going to be some kind of midfield maestro and that's your destiny? You've got Scholes, you've got De Bruyne. It's all about the ginger dynamos, the playmakers, the creators.
Chelsea signed one, Steve Sidwell. Didn't quite work.
He's from Reading. He was an old Reading boy. We love Sidwell.
Yeah. Free transfer from Reading. Ben, I think the final thing is, when we can talk about it here, league is wide open. Neither of these teams is separating. Liverpool's got problems in the back. City. I don't think Pep's going to be there next year. I don't think that they're going to push forward for anything. So one of those two teams will probably win it. But there are other teams that can make this very interesting. And what in the past 2 years has not been a very close Premier League, 1 through 4. I think we're going to see a close Premier League 1 through 4.
I agree. Isn't it funny how the tides changed? The last 2 seasons, we've seen maybe the best Premiership side of all time, that Liverpool squad. And they actually haven't lost anyone. In fact, they've gained a bit more depth. And yet they were still struggling. Then you've got injuries on top of that have really debilitated them. And they look beatable. All teams, I think, rather than have got better, all of them look like they've got more disadvantages to their game, more things to overcome as well. It's less like you've got 5 brilliant teams and more like you've got a bunch of average teams, each with their positives, and a lot with their negatives as well.
Yeah, I think so. That Liverpool side, I think the one thing that hurts them is like, it wasn't like in the mid to late 2000s when you had like 4 Premier League teams making the Champions League semifinals, when Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, and Chelsea were just the best teams in Europe, right? So, yeah, I think the Liverpool. I would like to see those sides play against, those mid to late, early first decade top 4 teams, and just see how it goes.
Yeah, I still think they'll do well in the Champions League, but mainly because there's no great teams out there, maybe with the exception of Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich's a great team.
But Barcelona have dropped off, Real Madrid have dropped off, so I still think they'll get pretty far, and then it's just anyone's game.
They skull drug at Atalanta. I was telling my friends like, "Oh, this is gonna be a great match. You should watch this." And like this high school text site, and Liverpool skull drugged them. It was like they scored like 4 or 5 goals. It was nasty. Am I gonna try to kill this bug? No, I'm a professional podcaster. I'm just gonna keep going. Ben, let's go to round about the league. The first match we want to talk about. Your boys, Everton 1, United 3. Ben, we had a lot of Poch. A lot of Poch rumors saying that if Ole wouldn't have won this match, then international break, good time to bring in a new manager. Madrid is kind of looking shaky, so maybe United need to move on Poch before he's taken. But Ben, Ole is a little bit like Michael Myers. You just can't kill him. Every time you count him out, he just pulls out a pretty good performance. I'm not gonna say an amazing performance, but a pretty good one. Pretty good.
I disagree completely. I think it was an average performance held up by a brilliant Fernandez. That guy runs his heart out, set up everything. He could have had a hat trick apart from his selflessness. At the end there, it could just have easily have been 2-2. They had a chance right at the end, and we only hit them on the break to make it 3-1. I think in these games, I look more to, have we found the right system? Have we found the right balance? Did Ole really do anything to show that he's done anything particularly well? Youngsters coming through, and I still think the answer is no. And I think when you judge Ole on a game by game basis, as we do with every manager, it's hard to make that choice, or when you judge by result. But I think based on performance and system and understanding, development, you should look at that game and say that wasn't a great performance in a recognised system with a team that really knows what it's doing. That is a team won by individuals rather than a team that's won by a team. And if it was me, I'd be changing for Poch.
Yeah, we're in agreement there. Did I kill it? No.
This is podcast gold.
Yeah, it's gold. I don't think it was a great performance, but it's a good result, right? Like it's a good. Like what he seems to when the chips are down, he gets good results.
That's the players, though. That's not Ole. That's Bruno Fernandes playing out his heart. That's nothing to do with Ole.
I would say, when you have a guy like Fernandes getting a header in that side of the box, like that's special. Ben Ole did make quite a lineup decision. The ever young but not actually that young Paul Pogba to the bench. We've talked about it before. Is it Paul Mesut Pogba? Paul Ozil Pogba? Or are we just going to write off $400,000 a week and say he is unplayable?
No, I think hindsight, if Barcelona or Real Madrid came knocking again with a bunch of money, I think they would sell him in a heartbeat. I think it's funny, he was missing for so much of last season. Everyone was saying, we can't wait to get him back. He came back, our performances turn around. Well, it's Pogba that's back. I don't think it is. I think you're right to make parallels between him and Ozil. I think you could almost make other parallels to people like Dele Alli. So who are these big personalities who are disruptive in the teams if they're not playing? And I think what they have in common is they're not great without the ball. They are caught in possession a lot, and they lack intensity. So you really only see Dele Alli is great. He makes these big, long passes. Without the ball, he's terrible. He doesn't work as a team. He doesn't track back. He doesn't cut out those passing lanes. He doesn't fit the system. You can see him brilliant in the World Cup. So I think he's not about. None of these people are bad players. They're just maybe playing in a team that doesn't fit them and doesn't fit that playing style. And I think they're probably better suited to maybe an Italian league where there's more style, more time on the ball, more vision to open up defences. They probably don't fit in the Premiership where it's high intensity.
I don't think you get anything for him. I don't think you get a bag of nuts for him. I wouldn't take that guy. I don't know. Like Danny, maybe we could exchange Danny Drinkwater for Paul Pogba, but that's about what I would do for that for Paul Pogba right now.
Did you see, talking of returning people that trying to get a refund, they're offering Ericsson back to Spurs. So that basically they're saying, no, thanks, next transfer window, we'll give him you back. Are you guys interested? Thanks for sending him here. Would you take him back at Spurs, Ericsson?
No, I'm not a big going back guy. Like, especially if you were once the man, right? When Ericsson was the man for a team that, the year Leicester won the title, Spurs was right there, right? Almost doing it. So, or no, maybe what wasn't the year. I forget what exact year they finished in second or third, but like that was Ericsson's team, right? And he's not getting into that Mourinho side, just not. So no, I would not take him back. I don't think if he came and humbled himself and trying to think of a good example of a player that's done that like
Gareth Bale.
that Tottenham's not on the sheet, but that performance was insipid. Insipid was that performance. So I don't know. No, probably not. It usually doesn't work out. Ben, my favorite moment of this weekend, and we're not going to talk about anything else about this match, about that moment. West Ham scores in the 91st minute, but then Fulham gets a penalty late into stoppage time. And in the 97th minute, into 4 minutes of stoppage time, I forgot the guy. I apologize for not writing the guy's name down.
Lookman.
Lookman?
Yeah.
Lookman steps up for a big point for Fulham, right? Like Fulham needs all the points that they can get. Tries a Panenka and misses, and the keeper is not fooled. It was Ben. I love a Panenka. Like it's one of my favorite moments in football. So I can't get too mad at him for. I don't care if he missed it, but it looked like someone snatched his soul. He looked so embarrassed. He looked like an 8-year-old who just dropped a home run, dropped a ball in the outfield. He looked like he was about to go cry to his mom. I felt very bad for him, Ben.
Yeah, I think the ironic things are Mitrovic should have been taking it, but was either injured or off by then. It's tons of pressure. It wasn't just it was a bad Panenka. He scuffed a Panenka. A Panenka is one of the easiest goals in the world to score. You just do a small little chip, and it's basically the keeper goes the wrong way or not. He didn't even just do that. He scuffed it. It's like he bottled it. He was aiming for that left corner, but then also changed his mind to Panenka and then scuffed the Panenka. Nothing looks worse. I think what makes this worse than anything, the last kick of the game and then having to walk back into the dressing room and face everyone and say, yeah, I scuffed a Panenka in this very important time. And I'm sure no one spoke to him and everyone ripped him a new one.
What's funny is I'm not, goalkeeper, but I could even tell that he telegraphed it. Like it was way obvious that what he was doing, that he anyways, that was a little visual.
Can I tell you one more thing about that game? I don't want to spend long on there, but I thought that goal that West Ham scored, that was the most egregious goal on the weekend. And Haller being offside but not influencing play. He took those two defenders with him, who had to track him, he forced to do a weak clearance. So they did a weak clearance, dropping the ball for Shusek to score. I think that the fact he's got to be influencing play to pull two defenders with him to force them to make a clearance. That is the most egregious offside I've ever seen.
I'm not going to disagree with there. I like the take. But yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time at West Ham Fulham. Sorry.
Okay, that's it.
This
is why we're rushing through to get to
as a card-carrying Chelsea homer, Chelsea 4, Sheffield United 1. Ben, I have been to the Vatican. I've seen the Sistine Chapel. I've been to the Eiffel Tower. I've seen a lot of beautiful things in this world. But Hakim Ziyech's left foot, oh my God. He put on a display that I think he created 7 chances from pumping balls into that back post, pumping balls in the cross. With him cutting in from the left, pumping balls on the left foot, and then Reece James operating from the right foot. I mean, that's I don't know how you stop that.
Mount in the middle, putting balls over the top. You've got,
Yeah.
It should be Werner's dream, but yeah.
Well, Werner right now is playing on the left. He's just Ziyech's just picking him out of the him and Chilwell just diving for that back post. When Pulisic gets back, I think Pulisic is going to love Hakeem Ziyech. But yeah, I think Ziyech, I hadn't seen someone pass the ball like that since Cesc Fabregas in a Premier League match. Just an amazing, and Chelsea's riding in on all cylinders right now. It really sucks that we have an international break, but I put it in here. But first off, Ben, what did you think about Hakeem Ziyech?
I thought he was brilliant. I do worry that the last two games you've had, this is Sheffield United, and then before that was Burnley, when your two brilliant displays came. Before that was a terrible 0-0 with United. So yes, they can do it. There's full of talent. There's full of creativity. What you might struggle with, I want to see you up against a big team.
We got Newcastle and then Spurs after the international break. So we'll play Spurs. Hopefully that will be an indicator. But
yeah,
that leaves the question. In a league that is wide open, why not Chelsea? Do they have the talent to do it? Betting odds would say that it's unlikely, but I don't know. I think the league's wide open. I think that Tottenham and Chelsea both. Tottenham has the manager. I think Chelsea has the talent to maybe both push one of those. I think the top four is probably going to be City, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Chelsea. That's probably my prediction as of right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So I think it depends on a few things. I think that top four depends on who prioritizes the league over anything else. Do you leave every other competition, Champions League, FA Cup, and say we're going to focus on the league? Because you don't really have enough. No one has the depth or rotation to stay in every competition. It's not going to be one of these years where Man City win the League Cup, FA Cup, and do the treble and win the league. You're not going to see that this year. I think you'll see a big divergence of players. Chelsea certainly have the bench and the depth to go far as well. I think if we haven't even missed Pulisic, because you've got so many creative players, so many young players, you've got such a big youth squad and bench there as well. I think what you haven't quite worked out is what to do with Timo Werner as well. I think he's suffering a lot from the Aubameyang need of, we need to play three up front. We're going to put Werner on the left of a three, which I think they're doing the same with Aubameyang. You want that kind of player playing through the middle, getting on the end of balls, but that just doesn't really fit the system they're playing.
Well, I think when Pulisic comes back, you'll see Werner in the middle. I think that's going to be and you get on Werner. Werner's scoring. It's not like Aubameyang where Werner's actually scoring goals.
So he's getting a few, but they're coming from across the team, and from your out-and-out striker, he's probably not he's not getting as many touches as you like, and he's probably not getting as many goals. Considering they're scoring 4 in a game, and he's only getting 1, and he's like your striker, it's not a great rate of return. And he hit what? He hit the post and the bar again against Sheffield. He's not putting them away.
On a Ziyech ball to the back post, trying to sneak, Ziyech sneaking someone into that back post. It's just a nightmare to deal with Ziyech if you're the opposite side left back or opposite side right back, right? If you're you have to be fearing of runners coming in behind you at all times because he will whip the ball in with not reckless abandon, but he is one of the players that might he's high risk, high reward. He is going to pump balls from very far away, right? He's not a conservative player.
Yeah, I think again that only works with certain teams though. Teams that press high, leave space in the back, get pulled apart, and that's not every team. And I think you've got a player very much like Bruno Fernandes, someone who can find a pass. Kane's doing it right now. That doesn't always work against every team. So you've got one strategy right now. That's not going to win you the league.
We'll see what happens. I like Chelsea's depth when you can bring on Giroud as kind of like your like third choice striker. Pretty good right now. He actually wish he was playing more. But let's go. I'll tell you what. Speaking of teams hiring former players and maybe not being living up to expectations, been Arsenal 0, Villa 3. Arsenal was played off the park. And in their last 4 matches, Ben, what was your favorite goal from open play for Arsenal? Can you name one?
No, I just remember that one from the Community Shield at Aubameyang. That was the last time I saw them score.
Well, they haven't scored from open play in 4 games. They had a penalty against United. Ben, we'll talk about them. Talk about their ineptitude in a second. I don't know. Apparently, the Villa build up to the own goal, which I think Saka scored, but it was across the back post. That was just champagne football between Grealish and Barkley. Those 2 guys are studs for Villa right now.
They pull them apart. You know what? I have never seen a team that plays with so much intensity, but yet also much composure. They press hard, they fight for it, but God, they'll sit on the ball. And the way they tease that Arsenal defence with the little leg bends and the step overs and then the triangle, it was a thing of beauty. They turned them inside out. It was wonderful.
Yeah, Ross Barkley doesn't do anything quick on the ball. Like he's got all the ability, but like there's a lot of times as a Chelsea fan, I'm like, just move the ball, move it, stop.
My favourite thing by far that I think I saw all weekend was the Grealish shoulder barge on Bellerin for the 3rd goal. The way he ran and then just bounced Bellerin, a big boy himself, well off the ball. He went like 50 feet. It was amazing. And then fed the ball to, what's his name, to score. It was... Yeah.
Ollie. Remains a good signing. Ben, I don't know if you like engage in Schadenfreude, but there's certain. I probably don't like Arsenal. I'm saying this. I don't know if I hate their team the most, but I certainly don't like their fans a lot. Sort of the there's like this like I don't know. It feels like Arsenal fans. Maybe I'm projecting a little bit. Feel like they are the thinking man's club. Right, like the Twitter Arsenal fan. The Twitter Arsenal fan is like the thinking man. Maybe that's been with like AFTV a different scenario.
You think they're the thinking man's club? You should see Arsenal TV sometime. They are definitely not in high on their thinking department.
Aubameyang is not the same since Troops has left Arsenal fan TV. But just the Schadenfreude I got from reading like Arsblog talk about like turning on Willian. I was saying that the whole time, like, this is not going to work out for you guys. Signing a 32-year-old who has passed it to a 3-year contract and signing Aubameyang to that big contract, this is not going to work out. And it's not, and you can't fix this mistake very easily. It's not fixable.
I disagree. I think that Willian is exactly the player they need. I think
he's terrible.
You can't play him. I'll tell you why they're playing terrible right now. You're playing your top 3 all out of position. You've got Lacazette, you're playing in the centre. He is not a centre. You've got Aubameyang on the left, who should be playing in the centre. And then you've got Willian, because he's creative and fast, on the other side of the 3. You need to pull Willian deeper to provide the creativity, which they're so missing. Put him into midfield or tip of a 3, and then put Aubameyang in the centre and find someone else to balance Lacazette, because you've got those players that are all being played out of defence, and Willian is not terrible. He's just being asked to play this weird front 3 position that he's not used to.
I mean, he's played on the right for Chelsea a lot. Willian is just average. It's all it is. Like, that's what I've been trying to tell you. 6 out of 10 Willian. That's what he is. That's like
he's 8 out of 10 Willian.
Okay, go read some Arsenal conversation and get back to me what they think about it.
Because they're playing him out of position. All 3 of them are out of position. It's hard. You can't blame them for that.
Okay, well then, that's what I'm saying. Well, Arteta, the golden boy, after winning the FA Cup, he fixed the back, but he has not fixed the front, and that front is not changing. Like they're not signing people, right? I think Partey limped off. They're not going to like. You're riding with Aubameyang and Lacazette and Willian for the next 2 seasons. That's who you're riding with.
Football Manager again, when you do play it, best game of all time, when you put a player in the wrong position, they go red. If they're in a position they can play, they're yellow. And then when you get them in the right position, they're green. You've got a front three of yellow, maybe red right there. And that's not going to score you any goals.
Okay. Ben, I think Willian's terrible. Willian's terrible, and Arsenal. I'm really glad they signed him because it was a horrible contract to give out, and it's not going to work out for them at all. Crystal Palace Leeds. We've talked about some penalties and stuff like that, but I thought the Bamford VAR call was awful. He gained his feet were so far behind the ball that he's not gaining any sort of advantage to what he's doing. How that was ruled, I get why it was ruled off VAR, but it's wrong. It's just wrong. It's anti-attacking football. It's awful. What did you think about that VAR taking that goal away from Leeds?
So he was pointing. He's like, put the ball there. I want to get to it. What you should do now.
His body was at an angle. His feet were so far onside.
Listen, I think the way to beat this offside trap is you've got to point with little fingers. You've always got to have T-Rex arms, and you've got to be like, I need the ball. You can't be making these long gestures, putting yourself offside. You've got to be like giving the little chest guns, like T-Rex. You know what? We're going to tape. This is going to help. We're going to tape everyone's arms together because otherwise you're going to give away hands. So everyone's got little chicken drumsticks. Everyone's going to be, who's going to be the best? Sterling, because he plays like that anyway. But everyone's going to look like Sterling moving around, and then there'll be no offsides and there'll be no handballs because everyone's got these little chicken arms. It's going to be perfect.
I hate VAR so much. I hate people that can't understand that the human element of sports is okay, right? Because now we have the anti-human element, and it sucks. It sucks. It's terrible. We hate it.
As they say, they brought in the offside rule to stop people goal hanging. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Like we can't have someone standing up by the goal. And now it's computer graphics, it's frame rates, it's pointing offside. It's insane. It's insane, and it sucks. Agreed.
Terrible. Ben, we've talked a lot about England. Maybe who is their second, third. Who is down the rung striker? And we've talked a lot about it with Antonio, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But are we sleeping on Patrick Bamford? Does he deserve a run in the England squad?
His goal was nice, the volley.
Oh, it was great. The run to get to there from the outside the box, see him streaking. He does everything well. If he is scoring, he does if he's finishing, he does everything well. Presses, passes, does everything well.
I tell you what the problem is with Bamford is he looks like someone he'd be the best person on your team. He doesn't look like he should be a Premiership player. Like he's not he's not built like an athlete. He's built like an average Joe. That you're in good shape because you play football with your mates 3 times a week. Yeah. I think he suffers from not having that athletic build or body or strength.
But he is an athlete. He leads that Leeds front press very, very, very well. So, again, Ben, if you had to pick, the Tammy Abraham or Patrick Bamford, who are you picking?
Oh, I think Tammy.
Yeah, probably. But I think it's a closer debate than people like. His name should be I think Ross Barkley is hard done by not being in this England squad. I think that Patrick Bamford should get a look.
I agree. I think everyone should get there on merit rather than, doesn't matter what you look like. It should be based on how much you score. And I think people are raising the eyebrow for Bamford, interesting. But he's got the whole season to prove himself. And I think if he makes a good case for him, that he can still get into the Euros. If he gets 20 goals this season, he's got a shout. Abraham maybe gets 10. That's going to be huge.
Ben, are you saying it's too hard for white people to succeed in this world?
They're always 2 steps back. They're at a disadvantage,
Yeah, Yeah, I agree. Patrick Bamford is it's just systemic racism against Patrick Bamford.
What I'm saying is it's hardest for the middle class.
Yes, it is hard. It's hard to be middle class for Patrick Bamford, who looks like a Tory. It just it doesn't work. All right, Ben, let's go with our winners and losers of the week. I mean, easiest for me, it's Hakeem Ziyech and his left foot. That's the easiest winner of the week.
No, it's obviously Bruno Fernandes and both his feet. How many did he set up? How many did he score?
So Ziyech assisted 2, had 6 big chances created.
Yeah, big chances, blah, 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 blah. So he scored 1, created 2.
No, he didn't score 1.
Did he score any?
No, he just scored. He assisted 2 balls.
Why are we even talking about him? Bruno Fernandes scored 2 and created 1. He had a better week.
But there is a narrative that Bruno Fernandes has had his time in the sun as the golden boy. He has announced himself into the league. Hakeem Ziyech, let's just say this. Hakeem Ziyech, you may or may not have known him when he played for Ajax. The average Premier League fan, if I were to go and buy Premier League percent owned, I bet you he'd be way down on the list. He's going to get some run. His Premier League value is going to go way up after that performance.
He's decent. He's fine, but Bruno had a better week.
Yeah, but he didn't win the narrative of the week. This is not the week that you think, oh, Bruno Fernandes. Like Hakeem Ziyech, did Bruno Fernandes, I didn't even watch Match of the Day this week. Did Bruno Fernandes have a spotlight section about how good he was in that match?
Probably yes. Of course he did. He was man of the match.
Okay, Ben, who's your winner of the week? It's Bruno Fernandes?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. My loser of the week is Arteta because 4 weeks you haven't produced a goal from open play when you come from Pep Guardiola's system. That's trash. They are so bad to watch right now. Boring, the return of boring Arsenal. The only period that I've read about in books like Fever Pitch, when Arsenal, back in the early days of Tony Adams before Wenger got there, 1-0 to the Ars. Right? It's back. It's back, baby. Boring Arsenal is back.
Agreed. I think you can make a good case for it. I've gone for Scott Parker, but just because I love him. He was robbed so hard from his first win, offside goal, and then also a missed penalty in the final minute. And I've got a really bad feeling we're not going to be seeing him for much longer. I think they're going to fire him. So I want to get Scott Parker's name into this podcast at least once before he goes.
Oh, we did talk about him opening week. I think they played Liverpool. Oh, no, excuse me. Arsenal the opening week, and he looked like a snack. Him and Arteta looked very good on the sideline. But they're probably the 2 best-looking managers in the Premier League.
Have you seen when they take Scott Parker's interview and put the streets, the rap, underneath it? So he talks with this cadence in this the streets, the British rap group way, and they put that soundtrack, that bass under when he talks. It fits perfectly. It sounds great. Check it out.
I will do that. All right, Ben, let's wrap it up with our 3 most anticipated matches after the international break. We won't be here for a little while after the international break around Turkey Day. Ben, in the number 3 position, we have Leeds v Arsenal. Leeds is after telling much how I hate watching Arsenal. They're in the number 3 spot. Leeds versus Arsenal. Rematch of last year's FA Cup where Leeds really took it to them in the first half, couldn't close the deal. Interested to see what Bielsa can do on a little bit of a losing streak. Well, Bielsa's gotten pounded the past couple of games. Can Leeds turn it around against the Arse?
Yeah, I think if Villa can, I think Leeds play a very similar way with a very similar intensity in closing down. I think Leeds are going to definitely cause them a lot of problems. Okay. But I will say I've got a different. I would not watch that one. I'd go for Wolves versus Southampton instead. Both high lines, both technically great, both playing for top of the table.
Sure, I can agree with that. In second place, I got Liverpool versus Leicester. Top of the table, Leicester. I think this is probably one of the top 2 or 1 and 2 in the table right now. I would imagine without having the table memorized. Leicester, all they do is score penalties. That's like they have Vardy missed one day. They have 8 penalties on the season. Liverpool looking to assert their dominance over the league. Ben, what do you think about Liverpool and Leicester?
I think Liverpool play a high line, which is what Leicester love. I think Leicester are going to smash and grab.
Smash and
We're
grab.
going to see some goals.
Little Vardy rested up after the international break. He hasn't got anywhere to be. He's just hanging out. He's just getting ready.
He's in his house, yeah. Skittles and vodka. That's it. Red Bull.
Red Bull and cigarettes. Okay, Ben, our number one matchup of the week. Spurs versus Man City. Is this Mourinho mini renaissance real? Are they contenders? They looked pretty bad last week. They did not play that well. They got very lucky in to win that match. So I'm interested to see. And also Mourinho versus Pep. I mean, it's not as spicy as it used to be, but at one time there was no spicier matchup in the world than Mourinho versus Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, that's true. I worry about this game. Both teams are struggling after decent starts. They're dropping off. I think Aguero might be back, so that might be a good thing for City. I think they desperately miss him. But God, I think this could be a stinker for both of them.
We'll see, Ben. Ben, we're going to have to go into hibernation. We have the international break. So it'll be a little while before we come back to you. I'm probably going to try to watch some US soccer. They minus Pulisic, they picked maybe the most exciting US team that I've seen in my time. So I'm pretty excited to watch the US. I'm pretty excited to watch England. But yeah, I'll probably be watching a little international football while also eating some turkey. You know.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, man. Well. And so it ends, Ben. Another week, another one in the books. We're getting almost to the 1/4 mark of the season. We're almost 9 matches in, 25% done. Might have to do some talk about who was, maybe 1/4 season awards isn't that good, but we got to start thinking 1/4 of the season done, Ben. We got 9. We're gonna have 9 podcasts in the books.
And it's been an exciting season as well. What a season to launch this first podcast on.
Yeah, I mean, the first 4 weeks were like cocaine football. It's kind of leveled out a little bit since the first 4 or 5, 6 weeks was like cocaine football, goals everywhere. But yeah, it's been really exciting. I want to see a little bit more spice. And we haven't got a lot of really good controversies. A lot of managers doing controversies, press conferences. That I need Mourinho to go in on somebody is what I really need.
We just don't want the league to be shut down. I can see a COVID as it spikes and shutting the league down. That's the last thing that we want to happen. Trying to keep football going.
I don't think it's going to happen, Ben. I don't think it's going to happen because there's too much money to be lost out on. Not going to happen, but we'll see. We don't know, but we're signing off today. Good talking with you, Ben, and we'll do it again next time.
My bad.
All right, bye.